Dr. Eggman is in Magic. That, like, this is not a drill. This is no proxy cards or anything like that. This is the actual Dr. Eggman, Mr. Robotnik over here, for 2 blue, black, and red for a 3/6 human scientist with flying, and at the beginning of your end step, draw a card. Then each opponent faces a villainous choice. That player discards a card, or you may put a construct, robot, or vehicle card from your hand onto the battlefield. So, breaking this down very simply, right? Like, there's a lot of ways to build Dr. Eggman. I think that this one way is definitely not the only one. You're going to see a lot of people doing Grixis like self-mill, Grixis discard, Grixis control. They're not really going to focus on, they're going to believe that you're pretty much always going to discard a card, or, you know, there's only like so many really good constructs, robots, or vehicles. They won't focus on it too much, but they'll use the Grixis abilities to really do just a lot of damage, make your day worse. Personally, I would like to see Dr. Eggman make a bunch of robots attack a city as he does, and Sonic and friends have to go and save the city, you know, like that's just what they gotta do. So we're gonna build a deck that's based on Robotnik doing that exact thing. But the most important part is that he's allying with other villains within Magic the Gathering to make more villainous choices. So first up, these are the constructs that we found are really cool. You know, Chief of the Foundry, your artifact creatures get +1/+1. Foundry Inspector, artifacts are cheaper. You know, all of this stuff sort of makes sense, right? We want to cast artifact creatures and artifacts themselves. Having these robots over here that make them less sounds pretty good for Dr. Robotnik. But the main theme here is cards like Cityscape Leveler or Gear Hulk, multiple Gear Hulks. All of them feed into that like narrative of Dr. Robotnik now has the power of the multiverse, and he's building bigger and bigger machines that our lovely heroes are going to have to take down if they can. We have a little bit of draw power here. We're gonna need a little bit more. Mana rocks. We do have the typical Grixis package. And then we have some additions with Cultivator Caravan, because that is also a vehicle that taps for mana as well. Mana rocks are going to be very integral to having Grixis actually ramp, because Grixis doesn't ramp by itself, but it does play a bunch of mana rocks. This is a very Universes Beyond centric deck, because most robots are either from Fallout, Transformers, or Doctor Who, right? And then they're just now making robots in Aether Drift. And hey, listen, a lot of the robots in Aether Drift look like they come straight from a Sonic game, because one, they're very circular, just like Dr. Robotnik, and there's like racetracks all around, just like Sonic would have. So yeah, it's actually very funny that there's a lot of vehicles and robots from Aether Drift that go into this set. But most of this is Universes Beyond. You have Cybermat, K9, Slicer, Curie. All of these are really, really good robots. Most of the robots are Transformers cards, which are sometimes good for us, sometimes not very. We have 38 lands. We have Fabricate. There is a Tails art on Fabricate, so we just wanted to throw that in there. Some creatures that aren't either robots, constructs, or vehicles, but they are very valuable in this deck. Cyberman Squadron can mean that the next time we swing, it's just a big, giant finishing move. Liberator Urza's Battlethopter, a creature that allows us to start casting all these artifacts at instant speed. And then cards like Sean, Father of Synth. This is Dr. Eggman really allying with other big main characters that are doing some wacky robotic stuff. And turns out Sean, Father of Synths is really, really helpful in that endeavor. Looking at our vehicles, we have 19 different vehicles. We probably went a little overboard, and since Edge of Eternities comes out in like a month and a half, we're gonna have even more vehicles to stuff into this deck. So we're gonna have to go back and rebuild this. But some vehicles that we really, really liked: Brotherhood Vertibird, right? A giant creature that's going to get powered up for every artifact we have. Cybership, a big old battle station for us to start stealing people's cards from. Foreboding Steamboat. As long as we have more than 2 creatures out, we're able to exile 2 creatures from everyone's board until this goes away. Imposter Mech, that's always straight value there. Cards like Sky Sovereign and Magmatic Galleon are both political pieces where we can say, hey, one of you, we want to get rid of that problem card over there. If you simply take the Villainous Choice and allow me to put a vehicle into play, I have removal for it. So this is our bit of removal, but we could also probably trade them for spells. Possession Engine lets us take commanders. Nautiloid Ship allows us to take graveyards. Falcon Airship Restored is a brand new card that allows us to get cards back from our graveyard. And then Thopter Fabricator. We draw multiple cards with, at the beginning of our end step, we draw a card with Eggman. That's one more Thopter that we can use to block with. But the biggest magnum opus here is clearly Reaver Titan. If our opponents allow us to put Reaver Titan into play for free, we're doing great. We're in a really good spot. And then lastly, the biggest aspect of this deck is Dr. Robotnik making villainous friends all over the multiverse. And a lot of the Doctor Who cards, all of them having a villainous choice aspect to them, are all kind of similar to Dr. Robotnik, where they are villains that unleash hordes and hordes of robots at the protagonist of the shows or games. And well, now they're gonna be chilling with Dr. Robotnik, especially Davros over here, and they're gonna make all of our opponents face villainous choices as we send waves and waves and waves of robots towards them. Cards like Davros Dalek Creator are really good here. You're gonna make a Dalek at the beginning of your end step, so you get to build a bigger board state, and then there's a villainous choice. Missy. Whenever a non-artifact creature dies from anywhere on the battlefield, you're going to get them back as Cybermen. The Dalek Emperor makes you more Daleks and gives villainous choices. The Master Gallifrey's End, your board state could die, right? Including your vehicles. You can exile them, and you can either get them back as a token copy, or your opponents lose 4 life for each one. And then, of course, finally, the Veil Yard, right? Whenever an opponent would face a villainous choice, they do it an additional time. That's just great, right? We really want to see the Veil Yard every single game that we can, because this is just super fun. But that is Dr. Robotnik's first foray into the multiverse. Again, once Edge of Eternities comes out, there's going to be a lot of changes we can make to this deck. We could do just straight up vehicles, right? This is at the very least a look at the different constructs, robots, and vehicles that you can throw into play and start sending them at Sonic. And of course, the villainous choice allies, or villains I should say, that you get to throw into the deck too, really make this deck spicy. And that's it. If you want to see more decks like this, be sure to follow, like, comment, and subscribe, join the Moxfield, join the Discord, and check out all the cool decks we're building. Have a good night.